Next question, Mike Giardi, followed by Mark Daniels.
Good afternoon, Josh. How are you?
Good, Mike. How you doing?
Good. Obviously, Cam didn't have the spring or really a summer with you guys, or at least half the summer with you. And then obviously the circumstances of COVID and how training camp went. He gets that this year. How would you assess his overall feel in the offense and comfort in the offense now? And what have you seen from his mechanics? Because I know he's at least let it out there that, he's been working on some of the footwork maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's worked really hard, and he worked hard. He worked hard all year last year. He was certainly in a point when he got here that was a unique situation, having really no experience and exposure to our system prior to training camp starting. I honestly can't remember another time in my career where we've had a player that has done that. Even the rookies that get drafted, they get, information prior to the end of the spring. So it was a unique scenario. He worked his butt off last year to do it. And then he came back certainly this year at a much different position. He has a different grasp of the offense, a different understanding of the terminology. And now we're working on refining, the precision, the details. And I always talk to the quarterbacks about trying to master, the operation and the things we need them to do, and there's always work to be done in that area. I don't care what quarterback you're talking about. There's always work to be done. And relative to fundamentals, I think, we've talked a lot about this over the years. Every quarterback has to continue to work on those things. Some may have more refined fundamentals in one area or another, whether that's throwing mechanics, footwork, shoulders, stride, follow through, movement in the pocket. It's like a golfer's swing, you know what I mean? And if there's one thing off, with the swing, you could shoot a high number, and so in terms of refining and working at quarterback fundamentals, it's a nonstop, never ending process. And he's worked really hard at it. We're going to continue to work really hard at it with the days we have left in the spring to refine his and everybody else's at that position as well. Because like I said, I don't think it's ever a finished product.
Thanks, Josh.
You got it.
Next question, Mark Daniels, followed by Ben Volen.
Hey, Josh. Hope all is well. After Mac was drafted, he talked about being able to create a little bit of a connection with you over the virtual interviews you guys had in the pre-draft process. Just wondering, what did you learn about Mac leading up to the draft that created some sort of connection? And second part to the question would be, what were you looking for when you saw these quarterbacks throw at pro days?
The time you get with them, whether that's, the phone call or the Zoom meetings prior to the draft, you're trying to get a feel for the human being, first of all, try to get to learn about him, about, what his experience has been like wherever he's played. What is his, what's his background? Where's he come from? You can learn a lot about somebody if you just are willing to have a good, honest, dialogue and communication with them and not just run right into football. And so I enjoyed that part of it. Enjoyed that part of it with a lot of guys this spring, quite honestly. And then getting to talk about football and really, with the technology that we have now, the ability to watch film on, a Zoom meeting and then ask questions, and, whether that be their film and have him talk to you, or you show some film, of something else, and you might be able to teach him something and see how well he receives it. You know what I mean? And so you're just trying to gain as much information about how the player thinks and learns, what he knows, what he doesn't know, how does he process, what's the best way to communicate with him, because as we talk to all these players, we never know which ones we're going to end up with or which ones we're going to end up not having, and so, and I've learned also over time is all of those minutes that we get to spend are valuable because a lot of these guys have long careers, and so maybe we don't end up with them initially, but we end up with them eventually. You know what I mean? That can happen in our league, obviously. And what was the second part, Mark? I'm sorry.
I know you saw Mac throw at Alabama, and you saw some other What do you look for when you're at that pro day setting? You're watching a quarterback throw the ball.
Interesting presence, command. Are they in control of the workout? Are they talking to the other players that are there to participate with them? Are they coachable? Sometimes it wasn't as many times this spring, but sometimes you get to actually get your hands in there and work with players in some of those pro days and kind of have them do certain drills, and you might be able to correct something and then, see how they respond in real time. But you certainly want to see their feet. You want to see their throwing mechanics. You want to see their accuracy, their arm strength in person is always a good thing to be able to feel, because you can feel it when it's good, and you can see it clearly when it's not. And, but you got to watch them interact with people. Are they ready for this kind of a situation? There's been a lot of people at a lot of these pro days this year. So big crowd, and, can they handle that kind of it's not a game like environment, but, there's some pressure there and they want to do well. And you just want to kind of pick up, how they handle those kind of events.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Next question, Ben Volin, followed by Jim McBride.
Hey, Josh, hope you're doing well.
Thanks, Benjamin. How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Two quick ones, if you don't mind. What is it about Mac Jones that you liked when you evaluated him this offseason? Just what did you like about him? And how are you divvying up your time between coaching Cam and coaching Mac? How are you handling that?
Well, look, Mac, he's won a lot of games, in the last year plus, at Alabama. He's played in some big games, some pressure situations. He takes care of the football. He's demonstrated an ability to function at a pretty high level in their system and their offense with their terminology. He competed in a league that's, I'd say, widely regarded as, one of the top conferences, if not the top conference in all of college football. And he's, to play the position of quarterback, there's certainly not just one thing you need to do well. So, he certainly, stood out in certain obvious ways, relative to throwing the football and command and, protecting the ball and not hurting his football team. So a lot to, look at and digest as you studied him. And with the quarterback room, the best thing about coaching these guys, and we got 4 great guys in the room, is you coach all of them hard and you coach them all fairly and you coach them all, to what they need. One of them might need a kick in the butt once in a while, and one of them might need a pat on the back. And, but what all of them need is good, honest communication and, constructive criticism. We need to teach every day. I'm not taking anything for granted, making sure that we cover everything A to Z, and giving them an opportunity to make a mistake, fix it, come back and try it again. And so, to be able to give them all those opportunities this spring is invaluable, and it's a great opportunity for us to make progress in that room collectively to prepare them to compete in August.
Thanks.
I'm going to apologize in advance, guys. We're slotted for about 10 minutes apiece. I'm going to take 2 more questions. Steve Belichick is already waiting, so we'll go Jim McBride and Tom Kern. I apologize to those we don't get to.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for taking the time today. I wanted to ask you about Rhamondre Stevenson and kind of what attracted you to him, and where do you see him fitting into your obviously deep group?
Yeah, Rhamondre, big back, certainly, good vision, displayed, quick feet, ability to, break tackles, make yards with the ball in his hands. Demonstrated an ability to catch the football and do something with it when he was used in the passing game. And he's tough enough to stand in there and block blitzers and do things in protection that can help you when he's in there. And that happens to be the case. And we spoke with him. We evaluated him personally, did the same thing with a lot of these guys. And just, headed into the draft again, like you never know who you're going to end up with, but, excited to have an opportunity to add him to our mix. He's being given the same opportunities that a lot of our guys have been given. Learn the offense, learn our terminology, understand how we do things, what our operation is. He's going to make plenty of mistakes and we're going to correct them. And again, hopefully by the time we get to training camp, he's got a decent foundation to which to build from. And then he has an opportunity to compete with our room, which, like you said, is, we got a lot of guys in that room that are pretty good football players.
Thanks,
And
Josh.
last question, Tom Curran.
Hey, Josh. I'll try and keep it kind of quick. The question is this. There is a lot on your plate. You have new tight ends, new wideouts, offenses with quarterbacks who have disparate skills, a rookie first-round quarterback. The guy who's been here for 20 years, a quarterback, isn't here. A new quarterback coach, and there's more guys out of OTAs. Is this a recipe for difficulty? How do you conquer that? And is the learning curve at all steeper? Thank you.
I don't see it that way. I understand, you all the different things that you mentioned, Tommy. Number one, I'd say, I look at each day as an opportunity to just coach and teach, whoever's here and gain as much on, improving our football team as we can. And so I don't worry about who isn't here. At this point, I know at some point they'll all be here and it'll be training camp and we're going to be rocking and rolling. The guys that are here, we feel like we will make them better and we'll have an opportunity to gain valuable repetitions in the spring so that any mistake we make, we can improve as we go forward. Relative to me and, my plate or whatever, this is what I love to do. And this is what excites me about being a professional football coach. I don't see this as an inordinate challenge. I see this as an opportunity. We got, young players that are new to our team. We got new veteran players that are new to our team. And we have certainly a little bit of a different type of OTAs, in terms of maybe not necessarily having everybody here. But, I look at it as an exciting time for us. The new players, young or old, are all learning and learning rapidly. They're all listening. They're all asking great questions. And every day that we're given the opportunity to work with them, whether it be in the meeting room or on the practice field, I feel like there's progress being made. And so I don't know what everybody else in the National Football League's doing. I just know I feel good when I'm with our guys. I know the type of effort and work that they're putting in day to day, week to week. And so I know for a fact that we'll be further along at the end of this process than we were when we started it. And that will put us in a position to start training camp wherever we can, however far that is, we'll start there and then we'll build. And, we've never used training camp, where there's like an end date. So if we need to continue to extend our teaching and our learning and our improving and our growth into the season, that's what we plan on doing anyway. And hopefully we can find and arrive at the best version of ourselves down the stretch of the season. But right now, one day at a time. Love the opportunity to work with these guys. We got a great group of guys, great energy in the building. I couldn't be more happy with the way we're working and how much effort we're putting forth in terms of improving as a football team, especially in my case on offense.
Thank you, Josh.